Hey guys, this is Scott with The Average Joe's Armory, channel for the average Joe, and today we're going to answer two questions. First, is the Browning B80 Browning's best gas-operated shotgun? And number two, is the Browning B80 even a Browning, or is it a Beretta in disguise? Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I'm pretty excited. I've read for years about the Browning B80 and what it is, and different reviews and forums and all the good news on it. And today's the day. We finally got our hands on one, and we're going to be doing a video on it. So for today's video, I want to get into a little bit of the history of how it was born, talk a little bit about the model itself, take it out to the range and give you my first impressions, and then wrap up the video by answering the question, is this Browning's best gas-operated shotgun? So with that said, let's dive right on in. So first things first, let's answer the question, is this a Browning or is it a Beretta? Well, the answer is it's both. In the late 70s, FN Browning's parent company not only owned Browning, but they also owned a piece of Beretta. Now in the late 70s, Browning was struggling with gas-operated shotgun sales. They had the Browning 2000 shotgun, which was produced from 1974 till 1983, and they only sold about 150,000 of those guns, so didn't do so hot. So they really needed to figure out a solution to get Browning successful in this market again. Now, Beretta and Browning actually collaborated together, and thus the B80 was born. The Beretta part of it is that they had the Model 302 and 303, which was basically the same design, and they sold those parts, those internal parts, over to Browning, and then Browning wrapped it up in their package by changing like the forearm, changing the stock, and some other subtle changes, and thus you had the B80. So it's pretty exciting that these two very well-known, successful shotgun companies, Browning and Beretta, were able to actually collaborate on this gun that we have here today. So that's a little bit about the history and how the B80 was born. Now let's talk about the actual model itself. As I said, these parts were made in Italy and actually sold to Browning. And then Browning actually took those parts and assembled these guns in Portugal at their FN plant. They produced these guns between 1981 and 1988, and you could get these in 12 gauge or 20 gauge. Now, I did try to do some research to find if they were available in any other gauges or configurations, and I really couldn't find much. So if you guys know of any other configurations or gauges that these came in, please take the time to put that in the comments, because I'd certainly like to know that. Another unique thing about these guns is that the barrels were actually shell size specific. What that means is that if you wanted to shoot 2 3/4 inch shells, you had to buy a 2 3/4 inch barrel. If you wanted to shoot 3-inch shells, you had to buy a 3-inch barrel. Now on top of that, to complicate things even more, in the early 80s, these barrels only came with fixed chokes. So you can imagine if you're shooting sporting clays or hunting, you might have to have a lot of different barrels with this gun. Now in 1985, they did release the Invector choke system. So at least at that point, if you wanted to shoot with different choke constrictions, you could get these interchangeable Invector choke tubes, which would definitely help out. But you still needed either a 2 3/4 inch barrel or a 3-inch barrel because they were not interchangeable in terms of shell size. Another thing is that these guns actually were available in both an alloy receiver or a steel receiver. Alloy receiver being a little bit more lightweight, they came in, at least the 12 gauges, at around 7 pounds, and the steel receivers came in at about 8 pounds. That was something that was unique to the Browning because the Beretta only came with an alloy receiver. So that was something that was kind of cool. With that being said, let's talk about the gun that we actually have in front of us here today. This right here is a 1986 Browning B80. It's in 12 gauge. It does have the lighter weight alloy receiver, comes in at a little under 7 pounds, and it also has the 26-inch barrel with a vented rib, and also has that Invector choke tube system in it too, which is really nice. Other than that, it's pretty much a standard Browning B80. It does have a 14.5-inch length of pull, and honestly, it's a really well-balanced gun. So let's actually get into that. So we actually had the chance to take this out to the Waukesha Gun Club, shoot 2 rounds of 5-stand with it. To give you a little bit of background with that, basically it was like 11 degrees outside, so it was pretty cold, but otherwise, no snow, pretty clear. We were using Federal 7.5 shot on this gun, and didn't have any issues at all, and we were really excited about the performance. I'm an average shooter. I shoot 42 out of 50 usually in 5-stand, and the first round I shot a 46 out of 50, and the second round I shot a 42 out of 50. So with that being said, I was right on par, average there, actually a little bit better than average that first round. So we were pretty excited about the performance. Now, to give you my first impressions of shooting it, what can I say? It was very lightweight, however, it still handled recoil really well. I was a little nervous about shooting the 26-inch barrel because I'm usually used to shooting at least 28, if not 30-inch barrels, but this pointed and swung really, really well, despite it being so lightweight. On top of that, because we were shooting target loads, I was a little concerned there because I've read online that some of these have cycling issues. However, I can say after 100 rounds, we didn't have a single cycling issue. Everything ran flawless. It was a lot of fun to shoot. Like I said, real well balanced. It fit me well, and definitely a gun that I would recommend. So with that being said, that's a little about how it shot, my first impressions. That brings me to my last part of the video, where I want to answer the question, is the Browning B80 Browning's best gas-operated shotgun? Well, to give you some quick background on what I've shot in the past and kind of what my experience is, I have shot a 1976 Browning B2000. I've shot this now, recently, and then I've also shot a 500 as well as the Maxus 1, not the Maxus 2. But out of those 4 gas-operated shotguns of Browning, I have to say this is the one that I would keep. So I believe that this is the best gas-operated shotgun that Browning has designed. However, I say that with a grain of salt because in reality, it is wrapped in a Browning package, but really you've got a Beretta design, and of course Beretta is really well known for their gas-operated shotguns. So with all that said, this is a great gun. I definitely recommend you to get your hands on it and try it out if you've been thinking about it. I'm excited to shoot more of it to see how it does. And with that said, this is Scott signing off, The Average Joe's Armory. As always, we like getting our hands on the guns. We like doing the research and shooting the video and sharing it with all of you. If you are watching these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, it would really mean a lot to us if you click that button and subscribe. Definitely helps support the channel and allows us to continue to do these videos. But with that said, we appreciate all those who have subscribed and are supporting us, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.